Misrepresentation. Now, before going to the definition, before talking anything about misrepresentation, let me first tell you misrepresentation is 99% same as fraud. If you know what fraud is, you know what misrepresentation is. What is that 1% change? It is that there is no intention in misrepresentation to deceive. In fraud, it was based on deception. One party always intended to deceive the other party. But in misrepresentation, there is no such intention. You do not intend to deceive you. You might be making a false statement, but you do not believe it to be false. You think that you are making a true statement, though in reality it may be false. But you think that it is true and you are not deceiving the counterparty. So this is the basic difference between fraud and misrepresentation. So the definition of misrepresentation goes like it is defined under section 18. So the definition goes like there is misrepresentation when a person positively states that a fact is true when his information does not warrant it to be so. The definition says it is misrepresentation when a person states that a fact is true. That means he's stating something that this fact is true. However, in in reality, information does not warrant it to be so. That means in reality, it is not true. He thinks it is true, but in reality, it is not true. That means he is making a statement which he thinks is true, but in reality, it is false. It's like I'm giving you a proposal to sell my car to you. It's the same that I gave you in fraud. I told you that the car is made in Germany. However, the car actually was locally made. So in fraud, I knew that the car is made in Delhi, but I am stating to you that the car is made in Germany. So that became a fraud because I knew the fact that it is made in Delhi. I wanted to deceive you. But let's assume that I do not know that it is made in Delhi. Even I am of the opinion, my information says that the car is made in Germany only. So I tell you that the car is made in Germany, but actually it is made in New Delhi. So in this case, you can see that the statement that I am making, I myself am believing it to be true. And I do not want to deceive you. This can be proved because I myself think that the statement is true. In fraud, I know that the statement is false, yet I make it. In misrepresentation, I know, I believe the statement to be true, and then I positively state it. So the biggest difference between the two is of intention. In fraud, you intend to deceive. In misrepresentation, you are actually deceiving, but you do not intend to deceive. You are making a false statement, agreed, but you do not intend to deceive. Next is when there is a breach of duty by a person without the intention to deceive, which brings an advantage to him and loss to the other. Now, if you remember, this was almost the same thing that we did in fraud. There, it was mentioned as promise made by a person which he does not intend to perform. Here also, what is happening is a duty is getting breached. I mean, there is a duty on a person, he has to perform something, perform a duty, but he breaches it. He does not perform it. The important thing is without intention to deceive. Now, he does not intend to deceive. He is not purposely breaching the duty. He does not intentionally want to breach the duty. In fraud, he intentionally wanted to deceive and did not perform the promise. Here, he does not intend to deceive. Now, what does it do? The breach of duty brings an advantage to him. Now, because he has not performed his duty, this brings advantage to him and loss to the other. I'll take the same example that I took in fraud. Now, let's say A goes to B and tells him that he wants a horse. B shows him the horse, but that horse has some internal disease. Now, it's the duty of B to tell him that the horse has internal disease. It's his duty. However, B forgets to tell him because they were so busy negotiating for the deal. B forgets to tell him. B did not want to deceive A. B wanted to tell him, but he forgot to tell him. The difference here is of the intention. In the earlier case, in case of fraud, he intentionally remained silent. He intentionally hid this fact. But here, he wants to tell the fact, but he forgets. Now, because he forgets, this causes him an advantage. He is selling a horse with internal disease at the rate of a normal horse. So, this causes an advantage to him or a loss to the counterparty. So, there is a breach of duty. I'll give you one more example. A wants to purchase the business of B. So, B sells business to A and A will give him 50 lakh rupees. He's giving him rupees 50 lakhs. Now, A is purchasing the business of B because B has a monthly sales of, let's say, rupees 1 lakh. A sales of rupees 1 lakh. But the contract was such that it was to be performed after an year. So after the year passed, the sales had slowly dwindled to rupees 10,000. After 1 year, sales dwindled to rupees 10,000. Now, don't you think here it is the duty of B to let A know that the sales in the business have fallen? Because it is only B who will know the correct position here. Nobody else can find out that the business of the business of B has fallen. The business of B has reduced. So in this case, it becomes the duty of B to tell A that the sales which were 1 lakh on an average last year are now rupees 10,000 on an average. But let's say he forgets to tell this to A. So there you can see that there is a breach of duty. However, this breach of duty is not intentional. He has forgotten. Now what this breach of duty is doing? He is causing him an advantage. Had A known that his business has decreased, he would have not paid him 50 lakhs. Probably he would have settled for 5-10 lakh rupees, 5 lakh rupees or 10 lakh rupees. So this has caused him advantage or loss to A. So there is a breach of duty which is not intentional and this breach causes him advantage or the other party some loss. When a party causes the other party to the agreement to make a mistake as to the subject matter. It causes the other party to make a mistake as to the subject matter. That is, A tells to B that I would like to sell my house to you. Now, what has happened is A owns two houses which are adjacent to each other. So A tells him, let's say there are two houses which are adjacent to each other. Now these are the two houses which A owns. So, so A tells B that I want to sell the first house to you. So B okays this deal. B says, okay, I would like to purchase it. However, when the keys are handed over to B, the keys of this house are given. The keys of this house are given. So B tells him that I had agreed for this house because you had said the first house. So A tells him I had termed it as first house from this side. This is first if you start from here. So now what has A done? A has made him to enter into an agreement and to make a mistake as to the subject matter. The subject matter for A was this, the subject matter for B was this. So A made a mistake, rather A made B to make a mistake as to the subject matter. So what has happened is this house has represented this house. So there is a misrepresentation of the house. The second house has represented the first house. So you can say that there is a misrepresentation of the house. A has made B to make a mistake as to the subject matter. Subject matter means the purpose, about what the contract is happening. So the contract is happening about the house, but which house? A induced B to make a mistake about the house, which is the subject matter. So all these three things imply misrepresentation. If you state something believing it to be true, it is misrepresentation. If you tend to breach a duty and that breach gives you some advantage or leads to a loss to the other party, or if you cause the other party to make a mistake as to the subject matter. In all these three points, one point is common, which is no intention to deceive. Okay.